Welcome to Keeping It Real with KC. I am your host, KC Phoenix. Okay, it is officially the weekend. I'm doing my shows, but the crazy thing is that I decided to do this episode because I just received some news in regards to the Keeping It Real with KC show. And as for the tarot card reading, I'm still looking to do at least one today, which will obviously be for Sagittarius, because Sagittarius was the first name that I pulled in the drawing yesterday of the astrological signs, the order. I haven't even set up my space yet to read the tarot cards, so I haven't even done that yet. It's 10:54 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here in Los Angeles right now while I'm recording this. I've been working on other stuff. I will be doing a sports episode today, like I promised, which I found a really cool story too. And I really want to talk about the story because I watched what happened and I still believe it was special effects or something like that. But apparently it was real. It was crazy. And I'm not even a sports person, but when I had seen that, I was like, wait, what? So yeah, I digress. Anyways, I had told you yesterday that I was submitting the podcast to another platform because for those who may not know, usually when people have a podcast, it's distributed on a few platforms, depending on who you're hosting your podcast through, which the Keeping It Real with KC show is hosted through Anchor. Anchor already has agreements in place with certain podcasting platforms like Apple and Spotify and Google and so on and so forth. But anything outside of that, you have to submit all of your information to that distributor, and then the distributor will determine if they're going to carry your podcast on their site or not, just like with iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio didn't come to me and say, hey, we want you to be... No, I had to submit all of the credentials to iHeartRadio. And then after a month of reviewing everything, because it takes about a month, because I'm sure they receive a lot of submissions, then they said, yes, the Keeping It Real with KC podcast can be on the iHeartRadio platform, which it now is. Same thing with Pandora. I had to submit all of the credentials, and Pandora was like, yes, the Keeping It Real with KC show can be on the platform. And that was done. I mentioned yesterday I was talking about another very large platform. It's not the largest, but it is one of the largest. And I thought that submitting everything to them, it would take another month, because usually when you submit to these large platforms, that's how long it takes, because they receive so many requests and things like that. So as promised, I said I was going to work on it this weekend, and that's what I was doing this morning before I started recording. And it got approved in less than 24 hours. So yeah. I'm still trying to process that. That's like kind of mind-blowing because everybody else was taking a month. I'm happy because all of this was done before Mercury retrograde. If you've been following my show, you know how I feel about Mercury retrograde. So all of this was done. I was like, okay, I'm going to submit this. It'll be done before Mercury retrograde. Hopefully I will hear something by the middle of May and everything will be good. But after I finished submitting everything, I received some emails and they're like, okay, we need you to confirm this, blah, 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 this. And also we need you to check that, whatever. So now I can tell you, because I know some people are like, okay, what's the platform? It is official now. The Keeping It Real with KC show is now on Amazon Music. So yes, this podcast is now on Amazon Music. And if you use Amazon Music a lot, versus some of the other platforms that the show is on, whether it be Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Google, whatever, then if Amazon Music is a better match for you with using in your everyday life, you don't have to use another platform. You can go to Amazon Music. And I have in the details section the link to the podcast on Amazon Music is there. So now you can listen to the Keeping It Real with KC show on Amazon Music, which will also be connected to Alexa. And if you listen to Audibles as well, if you're into the Audibles with the audiobooks and things like that. So with Audibles, they don't just have audiobooks, they have podcasts too. So the Keeping It Real with KC show will also be on Audible as well. So it'll be on Amazon Music and Audible. It's been approved. It's a done deal. The link to the Amazon Music platform for the Keeping It Real with KC show is in the details section. Also, there was a huge jump in listenership yesterday. I'm guessing because it came from outside the usual suspects of Spotify, Apple, Overcast, Bullhorn, and so forth. I'm guessing that came from Substack, because when I put the show on my Substack stuff, and for Substack, I will eventually start writing things. I'm just working on what I plan on writing. Now that the show has been approved for Amazon Music and for Audible, one thing I was considering doing as a written thing, I may just go ahead and just add it as part of the podcast and do that and do something totally different. I don't know. I need to meditate on it. I need to pray on it. I need to really, really think about it, what I want to do written wise, because I have some ideas and I'll know for sure within the coming, I guess, week or two. Right now, honestly, if you've been following my podcast, for those who are new, I'm still dealing with the sinus issues and everything else. Obviously, been recovering from mono since last year. So yeah, that my health has always been my number one thing. And that's what I've been focusing on. And then outside of that, obviously, my work, my podcast, and continuing to build the Keeping It Real with KC brand. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting the show, everyone who's been listening with me since day one. I sincerely appreciate it. And I always tell people my podcast seems to be bigger than my YouTube channel, because I have a ridiculous amount compared to, like, I have people watch, because I look at the analytics from time to time. I try not to get too bogged down in the analytics, because you don't want to be at that point where it's like, oh, well, I only got, 10 likes, or I got 0 views or 0 listens on this, or what have you. But sometimes you see stuff and then it's like, oh, well, there were 2,000 minutes worth of listening or watching on YouTube, or 4,000 minutes worth of watching on YouTube, or you had 2,000 listens on your podcast. And just like yesterday, after I had added the podcast to the newsletter part of the Substack page, which I guess they pushed out to the Substack community, that's the only thing I can think of, there was a jump of 300 listens overnight in my podcast. And that's the only place I can think that came from. And I'm under the impression that now that the Keeping It Real with KC podcast will be on Amazon Music, now that it's on there, there's probably going to be another jump for that. And I will check some other platforms in adding the show to those platforms as well, to see if the show is eligible to be on the platforms. But I'm super excited, really, really happy. I'm doing everything I can to preserve my voice, because obviously I need my voice to do my podcast. So that's really been on my mind, but I believe everything will work out. I really do. I don't see anything going left. It wouldn't make sense. And if it does go left, then I'll just ride the wave, because the universe has a reason for everything. So yeah, some things are just divine, and all you can do is ride the wave sometimes. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone again. I know everyone who listens to the podcast, like, you're always thanking us. Yes, I'm always thanking you. I'm always thanking you because you don't have to listen to the show. You don't have to listen to me speak, but you take time out of your day just to listen to me, whether it's me doing my tarot card readings, whether it's me giving my daily thought, whether it's me talking about sports, whether it's me talking about movies, opinions, whether it's me talking about life, whether it's me talking about food, whether it's me talking about entertainment, other entertainment stuff, whatever I'm talking about, if you're taking the time out of your day, because time is something that we cannot get back. Time always goes forward. It does not go backwards. It is impossible. Well, let me back that up. At this time, it is not possible to go back in time. There's a thing, in a little side story. In one of my classes, in one of my math classes when I was in college, my math professor, who was like ridiculously smart, he wrote a book, and which everybody writes books, but he wrote a book. And one thing he was talking about is that it's mathematically possible to go back in time, but it's not mathematically possible to go forward in time. So you can go into the past, but you can't go into the future, is what he was saying, based off of math. At this time that we know of, we can't go backwards. We don't have a way to do it unless some of the governments around the world have some secret stuff going on that we may not know about, which is entirely possible. But for right now, time travel, going to the past, is not in the mainstream. Because of that, we operate in the mindset of time only moves forward. So when you give your time to me, something at the moment that you cannot get back, it really means a lot to me that you do that. So thank you again for your support. I will start working on the sports episode, hopefully very soon, probably after I finish this one. And then for the tarot card reading, I need to clear the space and do all that stuff and get my crystals and everything else. And I'll more than likely do Sagittarius, and I might do Aries. But again, thank you again to everyone. I couldn't have done it without everyone's support. And I sincerely appreciate that. I wouldn't have taken the time to do it had I not seen that everyone was so interested, especially in my tarot card readings have become very popular. They've become the most popular thing with the Keeping It Real with KC show. So, which is good. It's just you try to process it. Like, I didn't know that would be the thing. I didn't know that would be the thing. That people are like, oh, I want to watch a tarot card reading, or oh, I want to listen to a tarot card reading. I didn't think that would be the thing. But hey, whatever it is, whatever you like, I will do my best to give you more of it. And I'll be doing that. And when I had noticed that there were a lot of listens for the tarot card readings, for the signs, and they're still happening for the signs as I log in to the analytics, I was like, okay, I need to submit the stuff to Amazon. I need to make sure that I can find out whether Amazon's going to say yes or whether Amazon's going to say no. And Amazon said yes. So again, if you feel more comfortable listening to Amazon Music, Keeping It Real with KC is now on Amazon Music, and it is now on Audible. Also, I'm working on something else with Amazon. I have to get the stuff submitted. I'll let you know if they say yes or no on it, because they want some more, I guess, credentials and all this other stuff. But it might be some type of partnership, I guess, outside of the partnership that I already have with Anchor. So I'm curious to see how that will pan out. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. If it works, great. If it doesn't, on to the next. You know, I just did an episode on rejection. If you haven't listened to my episode on rejection, it was during my daily thought. Listen to that episode, because if somebody's like, no, I'm like, okay, fine, on to the next. That's what I do. I just keep going. So yeah, again, thank you. I'm going to go in. Oh yeah, I've been saying all the time. KIRWKC.com. That is the main podcasting platform. Obviously, as I've said before, the podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Bullhorn, Overcast, now Amazon Music, and several other podcasting platforms. Listen to whatever works best for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. You will be able to find it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube as well. So yeah, that's all I have. Until next time, be blessed.